Let's actually go do some good stuff with AI. We're actually making stuff with AI and playing with AI tools because there's a new tool that came out from OpenAI. Well, the Codex has been around for a while now. OpenAI's Codex, their GPT 5.2 Codex, is like their coding agent. But in the past, you had to use it in the CLI, the command line interface. Like you basically used it like in your terminal, essentially. And it was not very user-friendly, not very easy for just like the average person to go and mess around with code because, well, you had to use your computer's terminal, and that scares people. Well, this new Codex is an app that you can download and just like, build apps straight from your desktop. So I went ahead and downloaded it. Let me go ahead and fire this up here. All right, so I've got the new OpenAI Codex app open here. And as you can see, this is fresh. There's no threads in here, no automations, no skills. I've literally done nothing with this. We've got all of our models here. Let's go ahead and go Codex High. I'm paying for the pro plan. I'm paying $200 a month for this thing. Might as well go for the high plan. What should we try to build? Let's see if we could build a little app real quick, just like by prompting it. Just not a snake game. Everybody's made a snake game at this point. Nobody needs another snake game. Describe that a little more.
Have you played D&D before?
A little bit. Not a ton.
Let's do like an app that creates D&D characters.
Create an app that generates D&D characters. The app should generate their stats along with an image of what they look like. All right, let's see how it works with like short prompts like that. I have no idea how long this is going to take. This could be like a 20-minute task. This could be like a 20-second task. All right, so it's doing stuff in the background and not showing us what it's doing.
Is this going to slow your internet, Matt Wolf?
I doubt it. It's sending this all to OpenAI's cloud, so none of this is actually processing on my computer. Yeah, so this Codex here, it's very similar to Claude Code. So Claude Code is like Anthropic's sort of interface for coding. When you're coding with Claude Code, you're using like Sonnet or you're using Opus, you're using one of the Claude AI models underneath it. Claude Code is sort of the layer on top of it that sort of instructs it better on what to do with coding. So OpenAI's Codex is similar to that. We're still using the GPT-5 models, right? We're still using GPT 5.2, but the GPT 5.2 Codex model is a model that's specifically designed to be really good at coding.
Yeah.
Then you have the Codex app. So this is where it gets a little confusing, right? The Codex app is like a user interface to use the GPT 5.2 Codex model. So there's Codex app, Codex model.
Oh.
We're getting something here. All right, let's see what it says. Love this idea. A D&D character forged with stats and a portrait is a blast to build. What I built, index.html, style CSS, script.js. Let's see what it did. So this is what it made. The Grimoire of Heroes, Arcane Forge, generate a full D&D character sheet and a hand-forged portrait. So it made Kip Baron. Their origin is gnome, their background's an acolyte, their alignment chaotic neutral. Kip Baron is a charismatic and theatrical gnome rogue from a acolyte past marked by a halo of wind-tossed curls and carry a cloak lined with raven feathers, a shadow walker with a talent for secrets. Oh, and then we got all of our scores, strength 10, dexterity 11. I love our character portrait that it made. It's just like this.
Is it a generator though? Because that's what we asked it to do.
Yeah, so let's see. This is what it generated. Let's do conjure character and see if it generates another one. Okay, so if I keep on clicking it, it will just generate new random characters every single time. And it did that in one prompt. Like the whole we gave it like a single sentence and it built this in one prompt. So
I love it.
Pretty impressive. And you don't have to get into like the terminal. You don't have to get into like any sort of crazy coding thing.
We just put together a free comparison guide of Codex and Claude Code. This will forever solve the question, which AI coding tool should I use? It includes 10 copy-paste prompts organized by its use case, a decision framework for using Codex versus Claude, and how you can use both together. Get it right now. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Now let's get back to the show.
Let's see. What do we want to tweak about it?
Maybe create the characters' faces and like what they look like and make it medieval.
Okay, so let's give it another prompt here. Oh shoot, it's going to ask for an API key, I think. Well, let's see what it does. Let's use an actual image generator instead of creating SVG images.
Tell it to do like a dark fantasy D&D style.
Dark fantasy D&D style. All right, let's see what it does. But the nice thing about this codex is, again, you don't need to be in the terminal. It's just like this simple app that feels very much like you're just having a chat with ChatGPT. Okay, yeah, so it's asking for an API key. So love the direction. I need 2 quick decisions before wiring. Which image generator? Where should the API key live? Well, let me just see, because it's saying where should the API key live, but it's not asking for the API key, right? So maybe it'll just pull it automatically. Let's see. Let's use OpenAI images. And the API can live in a tiny backend. Then it might ask for the API. Okay, so it's asking for an API key, which essentially is like my connector. Like it's a string of numbers and letters. It's like a connector that allows my app to connect directly to OpenAI servers to use their images. And they gave me some options for image generation, but since we're doing this with OpenAI's products, I figured let's just use the OpenAI API key, thinking that maybe it can pull my API key for me automatically. I'm thinking it probably won't, but I figured it's worth a try because it's all like OpenAI's ecosystem anyway.
I believe in you, Matt.
But I can actually go and generate an OpenAI API key while I'm waiting on this here. Let's see. Let's just see what it asks for next. Yeah, it's doing it. Let's see. So create backend server. So it created like a checklist that it's following through on now. So step 1, create the backend server, environment variables, and dependencies for OpenAI images, API calls. So basically what that's doing is it's creating the thing in the background that's going to run the image generator. The environment variables, that's where you put your actual API keys. Environment variables is like a essentially like a little document in your backend where like all of your API keys live in like a secure place where other people can't access them. And then it's the dependencies are just like any extra code that needs to be installed to like be able to make this app run on your computer. So it's installing all of that stuff right now. It's most likely going to ask for an API key in a minute, which when it does, I'll show you how to get that. So number 2, move front end into public and update UI. That's fairly self-explanatory. It's going to like update the front end with, the thing that we see, the site that we see is going to update that with the new updates that it just made. And then polish prompts, user experience, and document how to run the app. So it's going to, clean it up a little bit and then tell us, here's how you actually use it now. But while I'm waiting, might as well share this here. Wish there was a quick way to like share to a different tab, but there's not. So in order to get an API key, like let's say you're using this and you want to use your API key to generate images, you'd go to platform.openai.com. That's sort of like, that's the page you're seeing on the screen right now. This is like the back end area of OpenAI where you can get your API keys and sort of test things. And you can see over on the left, there's a button that says API keys. You click on API keys and you can see I've created a whole bunch of different apps, which all use like an API key. I'm going to create a new secret key. We'll call it D&D generator. This is just for me, right? This is so I know what I created this API key for. And I'm just going to leave all of this other stuff, just the default. And it's going to create a secret key. And this is what we're going to need to blur right here. Yeah, I'll actually delete this key afterwards, so it's not that big of a deal, but like, might as well blur it. So you'll see this API key here. I'm going to actually delete this API key after we run this project, so like nobody steals the key, but this is the API key. So I'm just going to keep this on my screen until OpenAI is ready. And then I'm going to copy this API key and I'm going to give it to my Codex, and it theoretically is going to go and finish the coding for me with my API key. So I'll copy this and then let me jump back to Codex here. All right. So now it's saying great call, blah, 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 blah. Files to know, optional tweaks. So is it asking for my API key? Great call. So it didn't even ask for the API key. So it looks like maybe it just automatically pulled it in. I can actually ask it, do you need my API key or did you grab one yourself? So totally fair question. I don't have access to any API keys, so you'll need to provide your own. I didn't and can't grab one myself. Here's the quick setup. So I'm just going to say, here's my API key, paste that in there, and then say, set it up for me.
Should have said, please.
Nah. That's a waste of tokens. Let's see. All right. Thanks for sharing, but I can't use or store API keys here since it was posted in chat. Please revoke that key and generate a new one right away. It's going to revoke it anyway. You don't need to tell me what to do.
Jesus.
All right. So it looks like it created a folder for me and it wants me to add the API key myself. this is one thing I'm not a fan of, because almost every other AI app builder would let me just give it the API key and it would add it to the environment variables for me. And this one, it doesn't want to add it to my environment variables. It's saying like, you go do it yourself. If I was to ask Claude Code to do it, Claude Code would have just done it for me. So, that's a point against Codex.
Do you hear that, Sam? Can you hear what we're trying to say?
All right. So in order to get this to run, what I need to do is I need to open a new browser here. Okay. So now you should be able to see my whole screen. We've got Codex here. We've got my browser here. So it wants me to go to this localhost 3000, but it's not working yet. So in order to get it to work, I actually have to get into my terminal, which I wouldn't if this was Claude Code.
Unacceptable.
When I've used Claude Code, it usually just says, here, let me install those environment variables for you.
Exactly.
Claude
holds your hand
for you. Let me start the local server for you.
I've said this in like previous episodes. Claude holds your hand when you do things.
It does. Yeah. Okay, here we go. There's a whole panel over on the right side where we can actually see the code that it's written. That's helpful. All right, so while this is running, let me actually go and see if I can make this same exact thing in Claude Code and see if it actually beats Codex. So when I use Claude, I actually tend to use cursor. So I'm just going to do this in cursor. I'm going to use the Opus 4.5 model here, and I'm going to say, create an app that generates D&D characters. The app should generate their stats description. So I'll go ahead and take that, and we'll put that one into our cursor here. But then I'm also going to give it the additional instructions.
Yes, for the characteristics and like the characters looking like a 70s dark fantasy D&D.
Yeah, let's see. So I'll grab this extra prompt here, push that into this one. And then I'm just going to go, here's my OpenAI image API key. Use this for image generation. Let's see if we can get the whole thing done in one prompt. I'm going to copy my API key here, paste that in, and let's go ahead and let that run.
I trust you, Claude.
So we've got Opus running over here, and then we've got our Codex running right here. And is it doing something? Okay, so it actually did finish. So what does it say? Totally get the demo first vibe. I've reshaped it. Okay, so we have something. Let's open our index.html file. And this is what it generated, and a broken image.
Of course it is.
Well, it wants me to paste my OpenAI key up here instead of embedding it directly, which is probably a better way of doing it. So let's go ahead and conjure our character now. Portrait failed. Check your key and try again. Portrait failed. Check your key and try again.
Sam Alpin, you just disappointed a whole lot of nerds in the world, including me.
So let's see if I can get my Opus over here to create this for me. Where did Opus go? All right, so this one's still working over here. It's doing its thing. Let's see if it one shots the whole thing that we were looking for, because the Codex one still isn't working. I mean, we got it open, but it's like...
It hates us.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
In a bad way.
Okay, this was our original here. And then...
The characters are creepy. But...
Oh, wait, it might actually be working now. Be working now. I think I might have generated no, it didn't work.
I'm really curious about like what Claude is going to come out with.
Yeah, it's going to look totally different. All right, so here's the D&D character generator. It does all this stuff. Okay, the server is already running, localhost 3000. So let me go ahead and jump back over in here, and let's see if I can get this one to work on this. Okay, so Tome of Heroes, a dark fantasy character generator, summon a hero. Let's summon our hero. It's conjuring a visage. I don't know what that word is.
A visage, like a face.
What does that mean?
A face in French.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So here's all of our attributes. Our background is an entertainer, alignment, lawful, neutral, personality, cynical, but dependable. And there's our character. First try.
I never doubted you for a second, Claude. See?
Let's summon another hero.
Hopefully it's a woman this time.
First try. And here we are over in, sorry.
Look at it go.
Not a man. But it did generate another one named Theron.
I love the characters. I love everything about this. This looks awesome.
Okay, so now let's see if we can build a little app using
GPT 5.3 Codex Spark. You can't even say it in one breath. I dare you to try. Now, these companies really suck at naming this stuff. So first off, this model is really good. It's the same model, but it's being run on different hardware. So there's this company called Cerebras. I don't know if you've ever come across them or heard of them, but Cerebras is like a company that makes inference chips, essentially. They're like these giant disk chips. And An inference chip is a chip designed to process the information at the time you prompt it with something, right? So you look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA is obviously at the center of this whole AI bubble. NVIDIA, they have their H100s and all of their big hardware that's going into the data centers. And most of what NVIDIA's chips are for have been more for that training side of AI. A lot of the big models that we've been seeing come out in the AI world have been trained on NVIDIA chips. And that's why there's been so much demand for NVIDIA is there's, they want to make these models bigger. They want to put more data into them. So they need more hardware to train on. Well, there's two companies that came out recently. One called, well, not recently, they've been around for a while, but they've been sort of making headlines recently. One is Groq, not Groq from Elon. That's spelled Grok. I'm talking about Groq spelled Groq, which is a company that actually makes inference chips. And then there's also Cerebras. These two companies make chips that are designed for the other end, not necessarily the training, but the side where when you enter a prompt, it gives you the response back, and they're designed to do that part really, really, really fast and efficiently. So what this GPT 5.3 Codex Spark is the first model that is being used with the Cerebras chips. So it makes these models insanely, insanely fast. So here, I'll just show you the demo that they put up on their website first, because this will give you like a nice little side-by-side comparison. So yeah, the left side is the original GPT 5.3 Codex. The right side is this new Spark model. All right, so I'll go ahead and hit play on this. They're both giving the same prompt, build a simple HTML snake game, all right? So the one on the right is this new fast model. So check this out. It's working, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, and it's done. And they're open and playing the game. And it's already going. That was real time. That was not sped up. It took 5 seconds to make that snake game. The one on the left, still going. 20 seconds in, it's still going. They're already playing snake over here on the right. Like they've been playing for a little. They've already beaten their highest score. This one's still coding over here on the left. Almost done, maybe. I don't know. The video's 47 seconds. So I don't know. It's almost done. All right. And now they're finally playing at 43 seconds in. Okay. So here's Codex. So if I come down here, make sure it's full screen. So if I come down here, you can see I've got it set on 5.3 Codex Spark. Now this is only available on the Pro plan. So you're only going to see this if you're on their $200 a month plan. But let's go ahead and say, please design a beautiful website for the Next Wave podcast. And just watch how fast this takes. It does take a minute to think. So it's thinking. This is all real time here. Not quite as fast as making a snake game, but it's done. It took 18 seconds. 18 seconds. So let's see what it made for us in 18 seconds. Here's the website it made. 18 seconds. So we've got the Next Wave podcast. We've got, let's see, does the about page? No, it's not even it's all a single page. It just scrolls for us if you click on these things. But you can see 150, I don't think this is accurate. 7 days a week on air. So it just sort of put filler data in, right? It didn't like do the research, but look, the destination for creators, operators, and curious minds. We explore what's coming next and how it will reshape culture, technology, and the way we build. Listen to the podcast, the latest episodes. Again, all filler data. Here's where you can listen, Spotify, Apple, and then it even put like an opt-in down at the bottom. And again, it took 18 seconds. So my impression of Codex is it's for people who just want to let AI take the wheel. So I actually tend to use Cursor because I do have more control. You can see, like, I can see all of the files. I can click into any individual file. I can actually tweak code myself if I'm like, oh, this isn't working right. Let me actually look at the code and see if I can find what's going wrong with it. I also, you can do this in both Codex and Cursor where you run parallel agents where I have multiple agents all sort of running at the same time doing different things. But to me, it's busier. There's a lot more going on inside of this, but I also feel like I have a little more control. But I have been finding myself using Codex a little bit more since Spark came out because it's just insane to test. And like, if they ever roll Codex Spark into Cursor, I mean, it's like game over. So yeah, I mean, to me, I just feel like I have less control when I'm in Codex. But using Codex Spark, you have to use it in Codex right now. It's pretty much the only way to use it. So when you think about it, the GPT 5.3 Codex is like the best coding model out there right now. And it used to, like, you'd ask it to do something and it might think for a few minutes before it finally did the thing for you. Well, now it's still thinking the exact same amount, right? Like the thinking that goes into it is the same level of thinking that was going into it when it was doing it for 5 minutes. It's just doing that same amount of thinking now in seconds instead of minutes. So now when you let it think for, let's say, 5 minutes, think about how much more it can do in those 5 minutes at this new speed, right? And that's where like really the next frontier of this stuff is, and why this is really exciting is not that I can do stuff now in 50 seconds or less. It's just think about how much more it's going to be able to do in 5 minutes than it was doing in 5 minutes before. I think, again, it all comes down to like taste. AI doesn't know what to make. Like you can't just say, go build me an app that's going to make me $1 million. It's like, it doesn't know what to go make. So you need taste. You're going to probably be better at figuring out user experience, getting in there, testing stuff, going, okay, this button feels like it should be over here. And when I click this, it doesn't do what I expect. There's still like user experience stuff that I don't feel like the AI has a grasp for yet. So letting it build a first draft, getting in there, playing around with it and going, okay, this is what I do like about it. This is what I don't like about it. And sort of iterating is where I still feel like the human touch is really, really necessary.